Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about this video I saw. Um, it was about the Dress to Impress drama, and so this guy, mind you, he's not in the gaming community at all. He's talking about how the Dress to Impress creator, right? Everybody had all these documents and everything on everything that she did, and then he tried to use the excuse that she's a child to be like, oh, it's not her fault. And I came across this video because I was on my YouTube and me and my boyfriend, we were going to watch YouTube. So I saw the video and I sent it to him, and then we were watching a bunch of videos. So then that was the last video on the list. And we were watching it, and then I'm listening to everything, and the beginning I'm agreeing with everything until he's like, she's a child, and I'm just like, what? Because that makes no sense. She's 17, but she will be 18. And then whenever he read where people were saying, oh, she's about to be 18, she's about to be an adult, he's like, oh, she's barely an adult, she's barely this. And it's does that even matter? Barely anything? How does that matter? She's going to be an adult. And then he says that he doesn't think that children should be held to the same standard as adults. So then that's when I got upset, because I'm like, that makes no sense. Because if a kid commits a crime, if a kid decides to go out, get a weapon, and hurt somebody, right? And we go to court, and they go to court, right? They get arrested, they go to court. They're going to be tried as an adult. So that statement he said automatically just, because it's where's the logic? And then he tries to be like, oh, don't come at him, don't be mean, and this and the third. But it's you're making no sense. And I'm going to tell you that you make no sense. I originally commented, I said in the nicest way possible, and I literally said everything that I needed to say. Then as I kept watching it, more and more of his statements was not making sense. And I just I tweeted about it, because I'm like, you're saying that kids shouldn't be held to the same standard as adults. If I decide to go, let's pretend that I'm 10 years old, and I decide to go shoot up my school. Does your statement that, oh, I'm a child, make it okay? It doesn't. In the court, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm a kid, but if I had enough brain to know how to go get a gun and shoot up my school, then I have to freaking face the adult charges. You do adult crime, you do adult time. There's no leniency in law, unless your attorney and the jury try to fight for you. There's really no leniency like that, especially for major crimes like that. There's videos on YouTube, 17-year-olds doing all these crimes, and they get tried as an adult, and they do all this time. So it's what you're saying does not make sense, that they shouldn't be held to the same standard because they don't know, and this and the third. And it's bro, what are you saying? Like, do y'all, like, there's information on the whole drama thing. Like, she tried to freaking set someone up for R-wording. She has CP pictures. Fat shaming, homophobic. And it's like, oh, she's a kid, so it's okay. Like, what? Like, do you know how serious it is for someone to freaking try to set someone up with fake screenshots for R-wording? Do you understand, like, the depth of that? So, like, is it, so because she's 17 and she's a minor, it's okay? Like, I was reading the comments and there was people, like, saying the same thing. You can't say that she's a minor and make it okay. Like, her action, make her actions okay. And then he backtracked a lot, saying that, oh, I'm not saying that it's okay. And then says, oh, she's a child. Like, which one is it? It's not okay, or you're gonna use the excuse that she's a child. Like, he was holding onto that with all his heart, and I'm just like, let it go. Cause if she was a boy, there would be no freaking exception for nothing. Dragged across the internet. They wouldn't care if he was 17 and he's a minor. Y'all would freaking be like, oh, well, and da da da. Like, at 17, I knew right and wrong. At 17, I knew not to get on the internet and say a bunch of slurs and say all this stuff and set people up with all this shit. Like, I knew that. And I was a child then. I knew not to get up out my bed and just decide to murder someone. Like, you think the judge wants to hear that I'm a child? If I did all of that? Do you really think that the judge would sit there and be like, oh yeah, she's a kid, like, oh, like, oh, I'm gonna just let her off on probation for murder? Like, what? There's 7-year-olds that get adult charges. Like, let's wake up and use common sense. And like, I screenshotted my comment, but I would have to like show that, and I would like, I don't know, I would put like the screenshot somewhere, but I was really like disappointed because I'm thinking like, oh, this guy's gonna like be on top of everything, like he's gonna like say like what needs to be said. Nope. And I'm just like, people that aren't in certain communities shouldn't be talking about stuff. Like, I literally told my boyfriend, I said, that's like me coming into he likes figures, I like Sanrio. That's like him trying to tell me about Sanrio, and he don't know nothing about Sanrio. What sense does that make? That's like me trying to tell him about, oh, action figures, and I don't know shit about action figures. Where is the logic? Like, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I don't think using the excuse that she's 17 and a child automatically cancels out her actions. If she were a guy, it would be completely different. Also, saying that you don't know if she's in the wrong for doing what she's done with full-on docs and screenshots and everyone saying the same thing is kind of weird. Even though you're not in the gaming community of Roblox, and any right-minded person would say, yeah, this is dead wrong, regardless if she's a child, because one more year she's going to be an adult by law. Then what's the excuse going to be? Like, you repeated that she's 17 and a kid like it's an excuse. When I was 17, I fully understood my actions and what could be perceived online and how that would affect me in the future. So that's not an excuse. Usually trying to set up people with our accusations is wrong, and her being 17 is an excuse. Also, you can be racist against your own race. Yeah, we don't know her race, but come on, it's called internal racism. But yeah, like I basically said that, and let's see, where is it? Okay, so yeah, because I said I was watching this video on the DTI drama that recently came out, and the fact that this guy says she's a child, backtracks and says I'm not excusing, then backtracks again is insane. Last time I checked, if a kid murders, they're tried as an adult. Like, let's get out of our fantasy land that we can excuse children for major crimes and crazy stuff. Like, if the It Girl creator wanted to take her to like press charges or do anything on that, they're not gonna look at Gigi as, oh, she's a kid, like, oh, let's pat her on the back. No, they're gonna put charges on her record. Like, what? If anyone, for that matter, anyone that freaking was working with her or saw firsthand at stuff that she did, like, if they wanted to, like, take all that to law, do you really think they're gonna look at her as a child? Like, no. They're gonna be like, oh, you're turning 18. Yeah, you're gonna be tried as an adult. And regardless, literally from ages 7 all the way up to 17, 18, 19, you would be tried as an adult for anything. Grand theft of a car, tried as an adult. Like, there's no leniency in the real world. Like, I don't know what land this guy's living in, but it's not okay. Like, let's wake up. This is the real world. This is not the metaverse. Like, I'll show, like, everything that I said or link it, but like, that's like, and I said you're basically giving the okay that kids can murder our people and shoot up schools with no repercussion because they're kids. Like, what? Wake up. If children can commit adult crimes, they do adult time. That's the law. Like, holy shit. That's what I said. And I said, like, if a kid that's 7 murders someone, they get tried as an adult. If a kid that's 17 that murders and or someone, they get tried as an adult. Use common sense. Because if you're going to say kids shouldn't be held at the same standard as adults, you're saying that they can kill. And like I said before, I said, honestly, people that aren't in certain communities shouldn't input their takes because you look crazy. And even a ton of comments said to him saying that she's a child is an excuse. And honestly, I think the video should be redone. And that's my opinion, because it's like you're making yourself look bad by saying all of this stuff and you don't even know what you're talking about. He even said he only skimmed the documents, so you didn't even take the time to read and actually educate yourself on the situation. You skimmed everything. So it's like, why even make a video if you're not gonna sit down and read everything? Logic? Like, what? Why? Like, when I saw this stuff, I was on my way to college. I was going on the train to go into school, and I saw all this stuff on Twitter. I read it. I took my phone and I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled. I even reposted it on my story. I said, "Hey guys, look at this. I don't think we should partake in this game anymore because all of this information." And I posted the tweets. They can click it, go see for themselves. So I understand the severity of the situation. So it's like let's wake up. We're not in a fantasy land. We're in the real world. Let's act like we have brains. Like, I'm not gonna, and like me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat something. I don't care about how you feel. I don't care if I sound a certain way to you, if I sound rude, if I sound this. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you straight up how you look, how you sound, and you sound dumb. At that point, like after I watched, after the 16-minute mark, 15-minute mark, I was like, yo, you need to redo this whole thing because you sound ridiculous. Like I said, that's like, I have a friend. I told my boyfriend this. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? What is he talking about? That's like if I said, I like Sanrio, right? And I have a friend that likes strawberry shortcake. Let's pretend I don't know anything about strawberry shortcake. And I'll try to tell them about the strawberry shortcake characters and all the lore. They're gonna look at me like I'm dumb. Like, what do you know? I'm the one that put you onto that. So how are you gonna tell me? Like, and that's like my friend saying, oh, well, Sanrio this, Sanrio that. I'm gonna look at her like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Like, come on. At least educate. Like, at least read the stuff. Like, he didn't even read it. He said, I skimmed it. He skimmed it, so he didn't read it. You can't skim something and then act like, oh yeah, well, ding, I know everything about this topic. I'm gonna make a video on it. And on top of that, that's all of this shit is like cyberbullying. That's like whatever state you're in, that's like that's against the state law. I know in New York, they have like a policy on that in the law, and I honestly think I don't think it's legal. Let me see. New York law on cyber. New York State laws on cyberbullying. Where are the laws? Goddamn. See? It says you can face criminal harassment charges if you repeatedly and intentionally annoy or alarm a victim. I remember some girl try to falsely get me put me in court with her because I cyberbullied her, and I never did that. She was the one that came harassing me. And I really don't freaking care because it's like she's really irrelevant now. That was high school. But like honestly, like, see. Oh, and this is California. It says cyberbullying is illegal in California. A bully may face jail time or a fine or both, depending upon the case. So let's not act like all this stuff is okay because she's a kid. No. Brain. Google is free. Like, let's use our brains. But that's basically all I have to say. I'm probably just gonna link everything. And yeah, like, that's it. If you don't like what I said and you don't like the way I said it, I don't care. I'm not gonna sugarcoat something. Yeah.